And I want to thank Coach Max Howell for being with us on Monday morning, as he always is, to discuss his views on what happened this past weekend in college football. Now we want to bring in a special guest, Randy Jones, president of the Jacksonville State University Board of Trustees. I've known Randy quite a while, and if you're living in North Alabama area, you definitely know who he is with all of his civic and charitable uh, contributions and organizations that he's part of, in addition to Randy Jones and Associates Insurance with Nationwide, which seems like he's I don't want to say you're old, Randy, but it seems like you've had that agency going since the dawn of time there.
Well, 45 years.
Right.
So.
Well, Randy, listen, we appreciate you taking time with us, and we want to talk some sports. And, of course, Jacksonville State, our alma mater, went through a very difficult situation this past week with a young lady being struck in the crosswalk, walking from class back to campus. And Randy, this is a sports show, but, Randy, I just want to say, and I know you're aware of this, this is something that has really been a problem even back when I was a student at Jax State back in the late 70s and early 80s. That's Highway 21. It's a dangerous highway to cross there.
I would, first of all, thank you for bringing that up, and we're heartbroken. When I got the word yesterday morning and called President Killingsworth, it's heartbreaking. You don't understand, but every trustee meeting we have, one thing that we talk about is student safety. And Randy Owen, who is over the academic committee, Randy will tell you that's the number one thing we talk about, is make sure that our students are safe. It's a safe environment, a safe campus. And you are right. This has been going on. And the city of Jacksonville and the university community, we've been appealing and asking for help from the Alabama Department of Transportation. And I don't want to get into the complete background of it right now, but it's just heartbreaking to know that we've been aware of this. We've tried to get things. Dr. Killingsworth posted a very good article yesterday, or wrote something about it. And I hope everybody can see that we have been pleading with the Department of Transportation, asking for grant money for safety, and we've been turned down. This has been going on, like you said, for years. And it's just that a tragedy like this, brings it to the attention again. But like I say, but between Jacksonville, the city, and the university community, this has been talked about, not just talked about, we've tried to do action on it. Mm-hmm. But the Department of Transportation, the Alabama Department of Transportation, has been the ones that saying, that we can't get any help with.
Randy, from what I understand, the Jacksonville has presented plans, not just recently, over decades now, but that highway is controlled by the state. So neither Calhoun County, the city of Jacksonville, nor Jacksonville State University has any authority to do anything on that road.
Again, it's heartbreaking. And the more that I've heard about this, it's just not, something's got to give. And yes, it's as recent as just a few months ago, we were turned down.
All right. Well, Randy, like I said,
it's not us. It's just not us. It's also the city of Jacksonville.
Right. Well, like I said, our thoughts and prayers go out to her family and to her but like I said, it's just a tragedy. Well,
it is. I am heartsick over it. But I want if we can get started, just to know that every trustee meeting, Randy Owen, and the academic committee meetings brings up student safety.
Right. Well, Randy, let's move on to a lighter and happier subject. This past season, Jacksonville State and Coach John Gross parted ways, and there was a head coaching vacancy to fill. And there was a lot of questions about who that was going to be. But you, as the leader of the Board of Trustees, and Greg Seiss, athletic director, you guys pulled a coup. I don't think anyone expected Jacksonville to go out and pull a Power 5 coach who had been at West Virginia and Michigan. And let's just be honest and say what it is. He turned down the Alabama job before Nick Saban took it. And you and your group went out and secured Rich Rodriquez, who was offensive coordinator for Terry Bowden at La Monroe last year. Just give us a little bit of the background and what your thought process was and how you actually landed this guy.
We it was interesting, decided when going to FBS, and which is an exciting time. You're talking about a game changer for a university. Just to even back up on that, it was about this time last year, or right in here, when Greg called me and said, "Hey, we've got a call from Conference USA," and I don't think you understand. We've talked about division, going to FBS, we used to call it Division One, forever. I mean, when Jim Fosa was on the board and these guys, when I first were on the board, we said, well, it's never going to happen. And then they became aware of us and our facilities, our stadium, our programs, our coaches. So they reached out to us. And it was kind of funny while these conference changes last year, how we were never mentioned. We were never in play on any of this. And then bam, all of a sudden, here we are joining Conference USA next year. Got a great TV contract. So we'll be on national TV, CBS or ESPN at least 4 times next year during the week. Mm-hmm. So that's just changed the entire complexion of the campus. And what that's going to do for enrollment, for enthusiasm, schools. I just hope we can get Troy on a year to year.
Yeah, it would be great to bring back that rivalry.
Well, we're ready. They're the ones we called. I called their athletic chairman the other day and asked if they were scared of us. So, but if we can get Troy, that rivalry right there. But we've got back-to-backs with good grief, Southern Miss, UAB, South Alabama. Of course, what people don't realize is that by going from FCS to FBS, playing South Carolina next year, we're going to get paid $1.3 million. Mm-hmm. If we were still FCS, like playing a Florida State or an Auburn, we get paid $400,000.
Right.
So just that move right there, and our basketball program. I saw a kid last Thursday, I think it was last Wednesday night against Auburn Montgomery, scored 42 points for us. So we got some exciting things. The softball team just tied Alabama in an exhibition game up in Albertville. Right. Had a credible 4,000 people there.
Right. So, and I remember back when I was a student there, of course, we were Division II then and always in the Division II playoffs and Division II basketball tournament. But I can remember Rudy Abbott's Gamecocks regularly beating Alabama and Auburn back in those days.
What we haven't come out with yet, I'm glad you mentioned about the baseball. Jim Case has stepped in, from Rudy Abbott, and we know what Rudy Abbott established over there, and now Jim Case, we actually, and people don't know this, Rusty Greer, who was a Texas Ranger, played for Montevallo from Albertville, Alabama. He is actually a graduate assistant now at Jacksonville State University.
Right.
Randy,
you look at the coaches that we have across the board, and collectively, there's not any better group across the country. It's unbelievable the quality that you're going to find at Jacksonville State University. And I think one thing that this move to Conference USA, I think everyone in the region has always recognized and known the excellence that Jacksonville State has. But I think this is going to open Jacksonville State up to even a larger audience.
Just the national TV now. But so that's kind of some background. So we decided to make the change at coaching, and in fact, I saw Coach Gross on Clemson sideline not long ago, and said, "Great guy." And Bill Clark, who's when we brought Bill Clark in, and what he did to change the dynamics over there, and so this is the next level now. So we had some coaches, Johnny Williams, who we had to do a coaching search for us, and presented some names, and this is pretty hard because we had some, and all of a sudden out of the clear blue sky, Rich Rodriquez's name pops up.
Right.
And we thought, doggone, this is interesting. So we flew down. He was at practice. And, so we actually went to a barbecue place and ate, then met him after practice. And he's one of us. Let me tell you, he talks about his daddy, his granddaddy were coal miners.
Right.
He is a blue collar guy. And so what really got me was when he said, my wife's right now at home looking at Zillow and looking at a house to buy.
Yeah.
So we said, this is it. I mean, and he has come in and become part of the community, has just been accepted by everyone. His wife, Rita, his 2 kids, they have just been, they are now part of Jacksonville. The rest of the story, so we decided to hire Coach Rod, and like I said, we were able to pull that off. And he wanted a lifetime contract. They love living in Jacksonville. So I feel like we've got one of the best coaches in the country. But here's the rest of it. What I was most impressed was after we hired him, who he brought in to coach with him. If you look at his assistant coaches, almost down the letter, every one of them have worked with him for 20 or more years. Kevin McGee, who had a heart attack this year, they've been together forever. Yeah. But then you got Coach Trickett. You got people who coached with him when he was at Glenview up in West Virginia. And these guys have moved from all over the country to work with him. Right. Not for him, but with him. So that's what's been impressive is the fact that not only him, just being himself, how great he is, but who he brought with him. And we've got, like you said, we've got a Power 5 coaching staff.
No doubt about that. And the first time that I met Rich, I was an assistant at Emory and Henry College, and he was coaching at Salem State back in West Virginia early on, and we recruited against each other. And the one thing that I love the fact about Rich Rodriquez speaking at Jacksonville State is that he never has forgotten where he came from. He knows what it's like to do laundry, player laundry.
That's right.
He knows what it's like to line the field. He knows what it's like to have to worry about getting hotel rooms on road trips and all that. And he understands the entire dynamic of building a program. And that is one of the things that right now, with all the facilities being built, and it's going to be unbelievable when it's all finished. But right now, a lot of the things have to be makeshift. And it's just so, I guess, for me, it gives me a warm feeling because I know what he's doing. He has made these temporary facilities unbelievable, and it'll get through the transition. And the recruits that he's talking to and the recruits that he's bringing in, it is unbelievable the amount of buzz that he's got going on with Jacksonville right now.
Well, people want to play for Rich Rodriquez. And but like I say, it's spilled over to our campus environment, fundraising. And he believes in Jacksonville. They love it there, and we are blessed to have he and his family. But again, the quality of the assistant coaches that he brought in, and the fact when you can point and say, well, they've been coaching together for 20 years.
Yep.
He's got guys from Arizona, from West Virginia. Even back from Glenview, I think it's Grandview up in So that says to me, that says a lot about his character and about how he treats his assistant coaches.
Yep. And one thing, if you look deep into this staff, he's got a great mix. He's got a lot of experience and he's got youth. And the thing about the youth on that coaching staff is they're not green. They're coming in from places like Clemson. And they're bringing a lot of, as a matter of fact, Zach Alley, the defensive coordinator, bringing in a lot of that Brent Venables philosophy that they've been using up at Clemson for the last 15 years. And it's just an exciting time to be around Jacksonville State University, the athletic program, the university in general. And a lot of that, and again, I know you're going to be quick to deflect the credit here, but a lot of that goes back to your leadership on the board. And I know that everyone there appreciates it.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. But with Coach Rod, one thing, just like I say, with his coaches, his vision, what he wants to do. I think that we've got some great things in store for the next decade and going forward. If it'd be okay, I would like to talk about our facilities real quick.
No doubt. I wanted to move on to those and let everyone know exactly what's going on there because, again, I don't think that there are any renderings, detailed renderings that's actually been made public. But once these facilities are finished, there's going to be no one in Conference USA that has any better facilities than Jacksonville State University.
So initially the plan was to close the visitor side, put dorm rooms like we had in Meehan Hall, attach a 65,000 square foot cafeteria, food court, and then the football facility. And to be perfectly honest with you, it went from 75 million to 135 million. And so, a large part of that was over 20 million was just for the structure over the existing stadium. So we are now moving those dorm rooms to a different place on campus, but it's going to be, instead of 375 rooms, we're going to have 500 rooms or 500 students. So that's going to be moved. Our Sodexo, and this is, I hope people realize that. So we did a 20-year contract with Sodexo, our food vendor. In turn, they're paying us $27 million.
Okay.
So we're going to be using that to build a new cafeteria, new dining halls, state of the art. So that's going to be, it was going to be right there at the football hall. And then we've got the Lauren White building, which is the football hall. And matter of fact, I was with Lauren White the last football game, and I asked, he and his wife said, "Can we call it the White House?" And he liked that. He says, as long as we don't get in trouble. I said, I hope we get in trouble. I hope it makes national news. Right. So Jacksonville State's going to have the White House.
There you go.
And that's the football facility, thanks to Lauren White, his family, and what they've done.
Yeah. And I guess Loring was a senior when that building was open, that particular building now, and now he's tearing it down and building a new building.
The White House, man.
Yes.
That's good stuff. But that's what we've got going on over there. So I'm asking you, everybody's watching this. If you're a graduate, you need to come back and see what you have. I was talking last night to a friend of mine, and we said, it's our alumni. We've got to make sure that our students are getting the right education, that they can get jobs, and they become alumni. And so Jacksonville State's about our alumni, that we've done our job getting everyone educated so they can be employed, have good jobs and good futures, and then come back and support our campus.
Exactly. And again, if you haven't been on campus in a while, the football stadium, the Meehan Hall, and the press box facility, a buddy of mine that scouts for the Giants, when he came down to Jacksonville a few years ago, and he called me the week after he was there, and he said, Boji said, I cannot believe he said, your suites are as nice as any that I've been in. I said, I know they are. And again, if you haven't been to campus, you need to get back. You need to see a football game, basketball game, baseball, softball game, because Jacksonville State University, it is emerging as one of the top universities, not only in the South, but in the nation right now.
Well, our marching Southerners, got the Southland Trophy. The Southland Trophy is the Heisman Trophy for bands.
Right.
#1 marching band in America. Over Ohio State, Stanford, whatever. The #1 marching band in the country. And they're going to be going, they're the only band that's been invited to go to the 80th anniversary of D-Day.
Oh.
So
Randy, a lot of times, and I've thought about this over the years, the things that has been accomplished at Jacksonville State, a lot of times we don't beat our chest quite enough to let people know exactly what we've accomplished. And
that gets back to our alumni being, if our alumni are proud that they went to Jacksonville State and they got a job because of the education they got,
Right.
That's dovetails right to what you were just talking about.
Yeah. Well, Randy, as we close it down, anything else we need to touch on before I let you go?
I just want everybody to come over and support Coach Rodriguez and what he's doing. They say he's a fun guy. He loves football. He loves Jacksonville. He and his family are there. I don't know how much concrete he's bought from Phil Webb so far for his house.
He has. I'll tell you, it seems like every time I go out there, something else is being poured.
Exactly. So I think he's getting some pretty good roots there. Right. But he's gotten some good friends from West Virginia that have come down and just love him and what he's done. So it's a fun time to be over there.
Well, Randy, we appreciate your time, and we definitely want to visit with you again as all this process moves forward. And again, thank you for your leadership at Jacksonville State and everything that you've done over your time of influence there to move the university and the athletic program forward.
Well, I just want to thank everybody at Jacksonville. We've got a great family over there, and we just see it growing and bring back some of our alumni. So